want this. I mean, I know I want this channel to be like more informative with like history, religions, current events, and just like an overall broad aspect of things where it's like you hit the three trios. You know, you hit today, the past, and then the spiritual part of it, which I think is you know, because we're here because of our past, and what we do now changes the future. But behind that, you know, is the spiritual aspect of um is when
This
why
is
we're
the
watching.
official Democrat Party battle plan with production movies, $350 million budgets, Civil War, promoting it. Now the new movie, Battle After Battle, with DiCaprio, where it's set in a fictional fantasy land in the U.S. where they have this hot sex and it's so awesome, and they go around with plastic explosives and dynamite machine guns, killing ICE officers all over the U.S. and freeing Hispanics from concentration camps.
Hold on, hold on. Dude, he just goes
What
off
is
on
the Podesta plan?
Dude,
around with plastic
hold on.
production movies, $350 million budgets.
What's this
Civil
one
War,
called?
promoting it. Now the new movie, Battle After Battle.
Battle After Battle. Is this real though? Is that real? I gotta check him sometimes to make sure this is real.
I'm creating a closed circuit. Very important to keep your cap shunted like this so you don't accidentally detonate your charge.
Don't stop. I want you to create a show. This is an announcement of revolution. The message is clear.
I'll be seeing you very soon.
Not if I see you first.
Trump wins in 2020. This is in August, months before, which they were able to steal it, so he didn't. He said, we're going to have Western states secede. We're going to have blue cities secede, but we'll start with the Western states, California, Oregon, and Washington. And we'll call it over migrants and sanctuary cities and healthcare at first, which they're now doing. I'm getting chills because it's all happening. Like you go to a play and you're reading, oh, the next act is this. And Romeo and Juliet, I mean, it's all right there. And they say, if he wins, we will say it's illegitimate. We will have blue states first secede and that they're going to be sanctuary cities for the illegals. Then when there's civil unrest, which they'll furnish, Trump will send the National Guard, and then there'll be a massacre of the migrants. And then we will kick off a civil war. Then all the blue cities across the country will secede. Then New York, Massachusetts, and others will secede. And we'll form what we call the Western Alliance.
That's the thing, though. It's like
we will then.
I don't think it would, like, I don't know. It's just like I would hope people have more common sense before it got to like something like this where we're just killing each other and just killing people. It's just like, dude, hopefully some people have some common sense out there, man. I want to say it's like Civil War is never going to happen just to the fact that like everyone's so integrated now and just everything's so integrated that like I don't think it would ever really take off too much. I mean, you might have a little pocket of it, but I don't think it would be enough to like warrant the whole United States just for the fact that everything's so integrated and we're all so integrated. I mean,
the U.S. military will be with us because they control the generals. People that think that don't think otherwise, that was Trump's big mistake. He found out. Most of them are globalists at the top, not your enlisted. They're great people. And that they would then form a military alliance if Trump didn't stand down, and they would march on D.C.
It's also like a very small group of people.
And then they made a movie produced 2 years ago. They released last year called Civil War. That is the last act of the Podesta plan. That's in a 2+ year Civil War race-based. At the end, they go and the black female sergeant kills the Trumpian figure in the White House. And that's because evil white people are out massacring brown people across the country. So the U.S. military reconvenes under a Gavin Newsom's command type. And
Alex Jones is a psyop, dude.
Come in and then they
I'm
take
getting
over the
brainwashed
country,
by this guy. I'm not even joking.
Re-educate all the evil right-wingers and evil white people. And then I saw Gavin Newsom on Colbert about 3 weeks ago, and he said, oh, we're forming, and they hold a map up, the Western Alliance, and it's for migrants and healthcare. And we're getting ready to go on offense. And Colbert goes, ah. He does that demon face. He goes, ah. And it's for migrants and healthcare.
Hold on, what is
And
this?
we're getting ready. We saw Gavin Newsom on Colbert about 3 weeks ago, and he said, oh, we're forming, and they hold a map up, the Western Alliance.
The collective
Oh, here we
health
go.
policy you're putting together with the West Coast states. So over here, you guys, what do you call this? You call
The
this
West Coast offense. It's a Western Alliance.
the Western Alliance.
yeah.
Okay. What are you guys doing? What's the agreement between these states?
We believe. Look, I run the largest public health system in the United States of America, California. It's the size of 21 state populations combined. We have some of the best and the brightest scientists, researchers, Nobel laureates.
California has 21 of the state's populations combined inside California. Dude, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy. No way, dude. There's no way that's real. Did he really just say that? There's no way, dude. The United States of America, California, it says a size or a
It's America, California. It's the size of 21 state populations.
size of 21 state populations, dude. There's no way, bro. California size of a 21 state population. Is it? I'm asking.
California's population is actually larger than many individual states. It's one of the most populous states in the U.S., but it's not the size of 21 states combined. It's a major player with a massive economy and a diverse population.
What's the population of California?
California's population in 2025 is estimated to be around 39.5 million. It's a big, diverse
Damn. 39.5 million live inside California.
Nobel laureates
real.
in our state. As a consequence, we are advancing an independent scientific review panel with other states to counter the mis and disinformation coming from the CDC. They simply are not trustworthy.
Yeah. On podcasts, you talked to Steve Bannon. You spoke to the late Charlie Kirk.
He was my first guest on the podcast.
And I'm just curious, what did you get from
You
those
see, he gets it,
conversations?
dude. It's like you gotta listen to both sides, man. You can't just listen to your own side, otherwise you never get the full story. I think that's like a part of the problem is people don't want to listen to other people, man. They don't want to take time to actually listen to what the other side has to say. So it's like, how can you have a better understanding if you only listen to the one side of your story?
Because
This is why I'm like doing this, so I can like do my own research and figure things out and come up to my own conclusion, and not just listen to one side only. You gotta watch both sides. I
some
mean,
people come on podcasts or even television shows and aren't honest representatives of their ideas.
Well, I got a
And
lot
I'm curious what you got from those
I
conversations.
got a lot of grief. I got a lot of criticism for quote-unquote platforming people we disagree with. But look, it's not complicated. Divorce is not an option. I mean, at the end of the day, we got to figure out a way to live together and advance together across our differences. And
dude, you just said divorce is not the option. We gotta figure out how to live together and dude. See what I'm saying, dude?
there is something.
Dude,
Look, success leaves clues.
it's like, yes, he was right. He did bring a map out and all those things, but it's like, dude, see what I mean? Like, you're missing the
They were
full
successful in the last election.
scope of the story.
People need to
Yeah, I feel like this side, both sides, whatever. I'm not trying, whatever. It's like they're counting on the fact that you're not going to take your time to watch the video or watch the clip or watch what they're talking about. And I think they're hoping on the fact that instead you'll listen to them paint a picture for you and tell you, I mean, he's not wrong what he said. He's not. He did say those things, but it's not like, I don't know. I feel like they pick and choose what they're saying. They're relaying what someone else said. And then knowing that, like, if you're people that watch the show, you're not going to take your time to go search up Colbert and Gavin Newsom's interview and then watch the full yourself. That's what they're hoping on, that you just follow them. You follow their lead without ever questioning or watching or doing it yourself. That's what they're hoping on. And I think both sides are like that. They have players like that on both sides, though. The right, the left, everywhere has that kind of side where I guess it's kind of that would kind of be like an influencer, like a person on a certain side that tells the story in a certain way to influence you to keep on following that side, whatever it may be, knowing that you'll never do the research yourself.
Videos at rallies. Now you have the No Kings this weekend. And we now have Schumer on Monday went on MSNBC and said we need to have a forceful uprising. We need to have a forceful uprising. What's the exact quote? My producer's over there.
It is a disgrace, and every American, I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative, moderate, people should be forcefully rising up against this, speaking out against it, and making it clear how inimical this is to what our democracy has been stood for, more than two centuries.
What happened to Kanye? Do you still talk to him?
No. I don't think he's a bad person. I think he's disturbed.
Yeah.
And I think he got screwed over in business. I think a lot of what he said was true. But he'd be like, I'm flying to Austin to come on the show. And then halfway through, he'd call up and say, I think they're going to kill me. I'm turning back. And then next time, a couple times he said that, I didn't believe he'd be there. So he flies in one night. I take him to a nice hotel. He doesn't like it, leaves, middle of the night. I didn't babysit him. I dropped him off, left. And he went to some downtown hotel. Next day, my show's starting at 11 a.m. Central. And I'm like, okay, see you in Vaughn. That's fine. Start my show. He pulls up wearing a GIMP mask. And I said, look, you can wear it for a while, but you need to take it off.
Do you have a lot of guests with GIMP masks on?
No, I don't. and so he just goes on and says he loves Hitler over and over again, which I guess it like presses on the nerve of edgelording.
Yeah, no.
So it's like, I'm being bad. I'm being bad. That only goes so far. And then I think I understood why he was wearing the mask.
Why?
Well, after the show, he goes back there and pulls the mask off to eat salad. And the pupils were just pure black.
Oh. So, what's that from? Just being high. Someone comes
6, 7 hits of ecstasy, I think might do it. I don't know. I didn't have. I'm just like, he was, I've never seen anybody with pure black pupils.
Really?
He was, he pulled it off. It was like glowing. He was just, and I was like, he's sitting there eating a salad going, and I went, oh, now I understand what's going on. I mean, I don't know, maybe, maybe a bunch of methamphetamine mixed with acid, they say could do it. I don't know. I looked it up. It's hardcore drugs can do that.
Wow.
I'm trying to be mean to him. I felt like I was actually.
No, you're not being mean.
I felt like I was being abusive, even letting him on air.
Why?
When it was because he was obviously out of his mind.
And that was kind of that was the last anyone really heard from him. That was it, kind of. That was the end of Kanye, I think.
He's like, I'm going to take the mask off now. And he just pulls it off, and I was just like, because it's like a boardroom thing, table, harsh light. And I'm standing right there, and he's sitting there, and I'm watching him just like going, and I was like, wow.
Talking about God and spiritual matters more than they did 10 years ago. I mean, clearly they are. Where's that going?
I saw you with a guest a few weeks ago talk about it. This is well known. I talked to everybody that's done it. I haven't done it. Almost everyone that takes DMT, either from the toad or the ayahuasca plant, these creatures show up that look like court gestures or space aliens, different things, and say, there are too many humans. You need to wipe out the population. Then you'll become gods. It's the same message. And they've had groups of people. They've done studies.
You need to wipe out. You need to kill people so you can become God?
Yes, you need to depopulate and you need to transcend.
Do you know people who've heard that message?
Oh, absolutely. They've had whole groups and studies that have had group hallucinations of this.
Huh.
They say the devil's greatest trick was convincing the world he didn't exist. I think that's his second biggest trick. I think convincing the world that good doesn't exist is the devil's biggest trick.
Yes. Can you flat? I think that I'm not exactly sure what you're saying, but I know that you're telling the truth right now. Can you?
Well, convincing us that there isn't anybody good and that you don't have power and that it's all over and we are the Borg, you will be assimilated. The biggest trick is hopelessness when we're promoting truth and justice and honor, and we can't just dial into demons and fallen angels. We can also dial into God and get that message. But you first have to recognize that good and evil exist.
Yes.
And once you recognize that we are ethereal beings, that we are just manifesting ourselves in the third dimension, that all these people that are even atheists have these near-death experiences that come back with the same message. I mean, I personally in my life, have had so many times where I'm literally told something and it comes true and it just comes from God. And so I know this is real.
Yeah, man.
We are a lot more complex than just what our eyes and ears and taste and touch pick up. And when you really actually study the globalists, none of them are atheists. They're into the occult.
Exactly.
And they believe they're interfacing, even at Skull and Bones. At Yale, they get in these coffins for days. They try to get
Real talk,
these
Skull and
spirits to
Bones,
come into
and
them.
yeah.
They try to channel these spirits. You've got the heads of Skull and Bones
That's
there
real.
the last few days, seeing who's able to interface with this. These are real rituals that are part of activating parts of the mind so that people can see past
People
the
always
veil.
forget about that.
And again, they've now been able, with robots and computers and wires in the brain, as Elon's talked about decades ago, this was already done. Your eyes narrow the light spectrum because there's so much going on that if you saw the infrared and everything else, it would be too confusing.
Yeah.
But now with hallucinogens and other things, they have been able to prove that people can actually see past the veil into basically other dimensions. And so that's really what this is. And we have to admit to ourselves that what we see and taste and touch and everything is a very small piece of actually what's going on. And that's that wider world. And people have to, once they understand that there is this wider battle going on, then you realize, oh my God, God's real. I better choose God or I better choose the devil. But if people are kind of embedded into this and just grow up in it, and just with the corporate media and life, they get trained into the evil
in
side,
a habit,
never knowing they really had a choice.
Programming.
But almost everybody, if they're given a choice early enough, will choose God that right way. The problem is the system on earth knows that, so the priest class in Christianity or Islam or Judaism, any of it, most of it's bad priests, bad churches who know the power's there, know people are looking for God, know they're seeking, so they're there basically to get the power from you instead of you basically transcending spiritually. And so that's why Christ talked about the relationship with God is personal.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the kingdom of God is within us. The New Agers go, oh, you are God. No, kingdom of God is within us. We're made in God's image. We have the potential to know God, to interface with God. That's worship God. And then through that, begin to transcend to a higher consciousness, interfacing with God, not God, but with God, and then part of God.
Mm-hmm.
But I just recommend the people personal relationship with God, praying to God, saying, I want to be good. I want to recognize truth. I want to know what truth is. I want to open myself up to you. I'm an imperfect. I repent for what I've done, and I want you to cleanse me and then show me the truth and then show me how to be a better person and then show me after that what the mission is you have for me. And literally, if you do that through a process, it may take days, may take months, may take years, then the adventure begins. And then all of a sudden, you're being given like intel and stuff. And like literally just, you have to learn to go with it. It's never wrong. And it's God. And it's there. And it's your personal relationship. And then obviously, people get this relationship. They all want to teach other people it. And God says, get together in groups. That's great. But Christ didn't try to go get the Sadducees and the Pharisees and the priest class to join him. He said their minds were closed. He went to the prostitutes and the tax collectors and the robbers and the thieves because they were already outcast. But that's where he found people that were already under evil's control but weren't arrogant about it, who were looking for a way out. And so, I mean, I think that's really what it comes down to, is a spiritual relationship with God. And there are some real churches and things.
But don't you find that? I know I have found that. You see sparks of this.
That's crazy.
In the most unlikely people. If you put a list on
good
paper
definition right
of
there
the people in your life,
that's
I won't ask
crazy.
you to say it out loud, but who you really trust, or you talk to and you groove with them and they like know exactly what you're saying. You know, they are on the same wavelength in some deep way. It's not the people you would expect.
Here's something you may not have known.
That was
in 2015,
crazy
the Congress of the
definition,
United
man,
States repealed something.
People in the churches regardless. It's just that the last 120 years, the Rockefeller Foundation, the ecumenical movement and all of that has really moved into the churches. And we see that with all the rainbow flags and all, the famous cathedrals in England now festooned with all the leftists, graffiti and garbage. I mean, it's been captured is my point. But people can't get turned off by that and say, well, God's dead. No. Satan has occupied the so-called temples. But God isn't in the temple. God is inside us.
Do the temples get torn down? Like, do the last vestiges of the old civilization get erased and Christians start anew? Like, what is this? How does this unfold?
I think that's up to how God influences everybody. I think we could, over time, retake those things. But the Satanists and the leftists and the power hungry, they think if they can take over the skin of something and occupy it,
Yes.
that they can fool people that are looking for God, but that's actually triggering the Great Awakening. So I think some of the buildings get torn down, some of the buildings get retaken, but at the end of the day, God's temple is with us.
It doesn't matter.
So it doesn't matter.
Right. So Westminster Abbey is not where God lives.
No.
Interesting.
No, that's so important to remember. Do you get discouraged? Do you ever think it's hopeless?
No, because it's all in God's plan, but I do get discouraged for individuals who kind of fall to evil. You see good people that fight evil for a while, but they get put under pressure, they get attacked, they turn to the dark side.
Boy, have I seen that.
Because it gets them ahead for a little while, and then you later see them destroyed.
Yeah,
interesting.
Always. And their family's destroyed too.
Yeah, so, and I get tempted by evil. Sometimes like a devil jumps into me. And I mean, by that, I'm just busy, I'm tired, I'm whatever, and I catch myself, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
For a minute, I was like, turning into everything I'm trying to fight. So I'm not up here on some high horse like I've got all the answers and I'm perfect. Because anybody empathic can, tune into different frequencies and things that are happening.
I do too, man.
But at the end of the day, your heart's what matters. King David did a lot of bad things and sent his best buddy off to get killed because he was lusting after his wife, but he really repented. And God said, you're a man after my own heart. So at the end of the day, it's where you point your soul. And so many Christians and some people that love God have guilt. The devil's the accuser. And so, I made a mistake. I wasn't perfect. I'm not really a Christian. I'm not really good. No. As long as you mean well or doing the best you can, you're going to stumble, you're going to have problems, and you're going to have issues. But it doesn't matter because that's why God's there to help you. And you just got to reach out to God and say, I can't do this alone. I need you. And I think people just need to say, I need God. I give it to God. Not, I'm going to lay down and just trust in God. Some of the churches, thank God they're coming out with microchips and Mark of the Beast. That means Jesus is coming back soon. Well, I was talking to a police officer today we saw out here, and he's like, well, just thank God Jesus is coming back soon. Well, if you actually read Revelation, it doesn't actually read like that. We have to go through this whole project, and then this happens. And so...
And it's also, like, explicit throughout the New Testament. You're not going to know. Like, you're not God. You don't get to predict when this happens. It comes like a thief in the night. And so
exactly. And I'm not putting him down for being like, praise God.
No.
Jesus is coming back soon. My point is that it says the Antichrist will wage war against the saints and overcome them.
Right.
So there's a big, and then we lose in the third quarter, we win in the fourth quarter because God's going to test us.
Yeah.
So everybody's like, thank God we won't be here. That's only been around Schofield Bible in like 150 years. Nobody ever taught that, not in Catholicism, Protestantism.
It's absurd.
Nobody ever taught. I mean, the Antichrist has got guillotines cutting Christians' heads off.
Right.
So how are they all raptured if they're getting their heads cut off? So see, and so.
Well, the whole thing, I mean, it's obviously a heresy, but more than that, it's such a clear usurpation of God's power. It's like, I've figured out exactly when this is going to happen and how it's going to go. It's like, no.
Well, what happened to all the disciples? Almost all of them got killed.
Yeah, I know.
Did they get raptured out?
No. I know. The whole thing is, it's sad. And by the way, really good people fall for it. Really good. Some of my favorite and most decent people fall for it. I'm not attacking anyone at all, but it's clearly not true. And it leads them to defend like murder and stuff.
While we're on theology, what do you think of Peter Thiel's whole Antichrist lecture?
In some sense, the Antichrist as an idea is something that really comes into being in the world after Christ. And so there's a lot of things about it that are mysterious. In some ways, the Antichrist copies Christ. The Antichrist pretends to be greater than Christ, hyper-Christian, ultra-Christian, and then maybe only ultimately, deeply anti-Christian. You can think of it as a system, where maybe communism is a one-world system. So it can be an ideology or a system. And then of course, you can also think of it as Newman did, where it's sort of the final dictator of the one world state, where it's still, you stress it more as a person. You can think of it as a type, a system, a person. How does a sort of world takeover actually happen?
Like the spiritual world, that realm is as real as, the table we're sitting at, and people lose sight of that. I lose sight of that.
Exactly. So we should be having not just Peter Thiel, everybody, Donald Trump, you and I, we should be discussing Revelation, what's described is really happening now.
Yeah.
So we should be having, oh God, Peter Till's the Antichrist. He's talking about the Antichrist. What? Because some people are like, well, what's he doing talking about the Antichrist? Well, I think we should all be talking about it.
Well, because I think
Right.
the temptation is to just ignore the whole topic. I mean, that's the world that I grew up in, where it was just never discussed.
Devil doesn't exist. It was just
100%. People's sex lives were.
That's an interesting point. Is that no one really talks about that kind of. It's like a almost fear-based, too afraid to face the Antichrist head-on and confront whatever it may be or whatever system it is and try and confront it head-on before all this happens. It's kind of interesting, huh? I just thought about that when they were talking. Like, why not talk about it more and just try to confront it head-on?
A frequent topic of conversation. Everyone was super liberal about that. Like, no one was embarrassed of anything except any question that transcended the material was just considered, like death was considered totally off limits because it pointed to these obvious questions like what happens then. And so I really welcome that. I think all healthy societies face death.
Exactly.
directly.
People go, oh, you're a Peter Thiel dick writer. No, you should be having a discussion about Antichrist. Why aren't you? And so what I haven't seen the presentation.
They make a good point, dude, is that like, I agree too. It's like, people really don't talk about death that often either. And it's like, well, you showing no respect to death, it's like you don't really, have respect for your life because everyone's going to die one day. And ignoring the fact that's going to happen, whatever, it's kind of like disrespectful to that aspect of life. Because everyone goes through it, So it's like, it's kind of disrespecting the whole death aspect of life by not really talking about it or paying attention to it or asking what happens or nothing like that, Because if you respected death, you would respect your time and what you do and who you are and all those things.
I do think the internet's demonic. Sorry, I know I work on the internet, but the whole thing makes me uncomfortable. So I haven't seen any of this, but people are attacking Thiel for this.
Oh, I mean, it's like, oh yeah, it's like they haven't even found out what he's saying. I've read some of the articles. I tried to get tickets, but it was already sold out. But I wanted to see his view on it. But all I know is that we should be having a discussion about the Antichrist. I mean, we're having one already here.
Yeah, I agree.
And so what is the Antichrist? I think you need to know the enemy. I think you need to know.
Well, one obvious hallmark from my.
Well, I think it's like I said, I think it's a consciousness, but like everyone's consciousness alive right now makes up the collective, and the world is a stage on what events are played out in, which perceives, and then people's reality and perception of reality get changed on what they perceive, right? And so if the human collective consciousness is, well, then they're controlling the human, they are controlling the human collective consciousness through stage plays to change people's perception of reality, to take over the collective consciousness part.
Frequent but very untutored reading of those books in the New Testament is that the Antichrist reserves the powers.
That's why it's a world stage, and the world's a stage, whatever. Because the stage and the play, then,
God from scribed in Jesus' 40 days in the wilderness, where Satan offers him these deals, and he declines all of them. But that's like that. Whether you're a Christian or not, that is the template for life. Oh, if I just do this, I'll win this election.
Yeah.
I break some eggs to make the omelet. No, dude, you're going to be destroyed for that. Probably in this life, certainly in the next. And that's just real. That's just a fact.
I agree. And it's nothing but healthy to have a discussion about that.
100%. So I guess the one thing I don't like about the Antichrist conversation is it makes it sound like, Anton LaVey is
true. And I speak about death in one of my older videos. We should rewatch it again. It's about, a heart versus a feather, and why I believe the Egyptians back in the day used the symbolism of a heart and a feather on a scale, and they weigh each other, and if your heart is heavier than a feather, then you get cast away forever. And like the feather, I believe, is is a representation of purity and like good deeds and like light as a feather, you know, and then you know, if you were a good person, you did good deeds, you had a good heart and all those things, then your heart wouldn't be as heavy. You know, your heart would be light as a feather from all the good you have in your heart. And it's like a heavy heart, you know what I mean? That's what that saying, you know, a heavy heart. So that's what I believe, you know. But there, we should watch that one time. It's a pretty interesting video that I
start
made.
murdering people.
Well, Rothschild was the one who said, I don't plan to control the people. I plan to control the currency. That's a good shoe-in. Do you know what OK stands for? Only kidding.
Does it really?
It's not a word of substantiality. Okay.
Hold
Gary,
on.
from your study of the...
Hold on. Hold on. Hey, does OK really stand for only kidding?
Yep, OK stands for only kidding. It's like a playful way to say you're just joking or not being serious. Pretty useful for keeping things lighthearted. Oh.
Huh. That's crazy. I didn't know that.
The New World Order, because I'd like to get your angle on it. What do you think about this global system?
They're going through in Washington. They're doing a darn good job balancing and juggling the show. But the world is getting smaller. And the thing that creates the end of it all is terrorism. Terrorism must be looked at from all points of the globe, not just America. Everyone has their hand in a piece of the pie from different countries for themselves to survive and to be powerful. But it shouldn't be like that. I'm not talking about we should be in a new world order, a secret society. I'm talking about we should do what he has planned for us. And that's to understand and accept others for what they're feeling, for what their beliefs are. And don't go to war over it. And don't abolish the American people for thinking one way when the government wants you to think another way. Because Thomas Jefferson is 29 years old when he wrote the Declaration of Independence. That's pretty young.
Really?
That's what he wrote down. We the people. The government is the people. People need to speak and write their congressmen, their senators. They need to speak up about what they're not feeling or about what they're feeling is not right.
That I care about, and what I really care about is the news and watching a politician say one thing. And
you know what news stands for?
Northeast, Southwest. That's what they got.
Information from 4 directions.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And that's how they actually started it.
I did not. Did you know that news stands for Northeast, Southwest? There's no way. Northeast, West, South. Wow.
People had these boards up in the Old West, and they would, have news from different parts of the country, Northeast, Southwest. So that became the news board.
You know what the word sin stands for? S-I-N?
No.
Self-imposed nonsense.
I believe
Damn.
it.
Yay. You ready to go to 8?
Well, I just wanted to bring up 1984. George Orwell, who wrote this book about tyranny.
I did not know news was that, dude. That's crazy.
Memory. So they couldn't remember the lies, and they couldn't remember that things had gotten worse. And then they would even lie to them if they would then even lie to their own selves because they'd spent so much time accepting all the other lies. So basically, without having a memory, you can't know what the truth is.
Good point.
But that's what George Orwell said. I don't want to plagiarize him.
Also, you must learn this too, that mistakes are looked at as gifts. Because a mistake is a gift you have to learn something from.
Wisdom.
Wisdom and mastery of thought. Failing, F-A-I-L-I-N-G, that stands for finding an important lesson, inviting needed growth. So as a matter of fact, in the truth of it all, in the memory of all truths, you don't fail, you just find a better way to do it.
So going back to what my grandmother
Oh
said,
my gosh, dude.
You have to be old enough to die to know how to really live.
It's called age, experience, and wisdom and mastery. It happens with the evolution of your destiny. What this has displayed, what you gave a display of is your energy, is not to be held back. And it's as if you're sprinting a quarter of a mile so fast you outran your purpose. There's no pressure, there's no diamonds. When you stay in the logic of going slow and taking your time and really thinking and stopping and associating words with colors or images you have in your mind, then your memory stays fast, and your memory is you. That's when you become your memory, and that's when all things within you are solid.
Well, in a way, that's
concerning the past, the now, and the future. You must remember the past is history, the future is a mystery, and now is a gift because it's called the present.
Yeah, I know that.
Well, that's, I mean, certainly throughout history, there's different types of power, and there's powerful people that are powerful because they do good things, and they do it for the right reasons. Why is it, though, really dark, evil, wicked people who are sadistic and enjoy doing bad things to populations, enjoy mutating populations spiritually, physically, financially, why do those type of individuals normally get into power, and then once they have power, no one's challenging them, they increase the murder, the slaughter? How do we stop? Well, number one, why do we see that happen, or do you agree? And then number two, how do we stop that?
A lot of the people who are under the power of the tyrants are like sheep. They know nothing else. They have no role models. This is from generation to generation to generation, and they come with generational curses, and they come from the spirits of evil, and there's 14 of them that are listed in the Bible. And when you have these spirits of evil working with you, within you, around you, and you have the spirits of evil working in the leaders and in the politicians and in the generals working with them, you have nothing but evil. Nothing but evil. And the most endangered species is dedicated leaders.
I mean, good leaders.
I mean, dedicated leaders in the right way, in the good way.
That, folks, that is incredibly, the old 60s word, heavy. I totally agree from my study of the Lord. That's exactly what's happened.
What
and
up?
they're so evil that it's so generational. They're so compartmentalized at the top of the pyramid that they don't even know it. This is what they are.
I will, after this, though, I am
They're
done for
a
the
beast
streaming.
just rending people.
Yeah, and the people are allowing it to happen because they know nothing else.
Can you speak more to that?
What I was saying earlier was to understand the freedom you have of being who you are, and your family, your loved ones, and your professional workplace, and the faith you have. And the word faith, F-A-I-T-H, that stands for fantastic adventures in trusting Him.
Damn.
Him is God as you perceive.
What, dude?
But God is not evil. God is not destructive. God is not tyrant.
No.
Is not a tyrant. God is not a barbarian. God is all-knowing. God all is. God is all. And it's the most powerful thing we have working for us. And to get out of the way of people guiding you into a place called a box canyon or a corral without a gate or a fence, you're trapped. You're in a self-imposed prison of yourself and what you live in. And if you're not feeling right about something, or you have questions about something, write your congressman, write your senator, write President Bush, and be a voice, because we the people are the people of our government. And Thomas Jefferson, 29 years old, wrote that down on a piece of parchment. That's our Declaration of Independence. And there's so many, there's a lot of negativity going on in our government. There's a lot of negativity going on in our neighborhood. And one thing we must learn to do is never compete with the energy of the neighborhood. Our body, ourself, is our first neighborhood. Our second neighborhood is our family. Our third neighborhood is the house we live in. Our fourth neighborhood is the neighborhood, the houses around you.
Gary Busey.
Fifth neighborhood, the city.
Dropping
Sixth neighborhood, the
life
state.
knowledge.
Seventh neighborhood, the country. And the eighth neighborhood is the world.
Infinity.
Never compete with the energy of those neighborhoods. Learn how to fit into it in your way of truth. And understand that the one way to be safe and to be in a place of nurturement is being true to yourself.
Damn.
Without the advice from others on how to handle and be more powerful over others.
Damn.
Because that's what planet Earth is about. We're here to learn truth. We're here to learn unconditional love. And we are here to accept all things and knowing God will take care of us all in His way, on His calendar. Open yourself up to that. Don't live with the traditions and rituals of generations ago, because it hadn't worked. Didn't work back then, it's not working now. So get in touch with yourself and your heart. Listen to people who are saying things to you that you must listen to. And don't go, I don't need to hear that, I don't want to hear that. That's your fear coming up. And I'll tell you this, that fear is a dark room where the devil develops his negatives.
It's true.
And the word F-E-A-R that spells fear, that stands for false evidence appearing real.
Damn.
For what you fear, you create.
Damn. False evidence appearing real. That's a fucking hell of a definition for fear, dude. That's crazy. Wow. Dude, Gary Busey went off on this video, man. I'm not going to lie.
You have nothing to fear because you are yourself. Look for the answers in your heart. Look for the answers. People who are giving you information that's not supposed to be out because it's too good. Want everything kept in a controlled state. That's not the way we are to live here. We're supposed to live, we are required to live in the truth of ourselves. It's called finding the freedom of your me. I found the freedom of my me. You can too, just by paying attention.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Gary?
Yes.
It's true. If we were all better people, if we were all more involved trying to be powerful with our community instead of being powerful over a community, how do we do that? How do you, tips for people out there, because you've definitely, gone deep into this, a deep diver into this, advice for folks out there?
Well, the golden rule is the biggest rule of all. Doing to others as you would have others doing to you. And it starts with you doing that to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Don't be mean to yourself. Don't be a codependent. Don't be a rescuer. Because a lot of the things, a lot of the energy that you bring with you comes from the energy of a displaced past and an unpurposeful future. The golden rule starts with you. You yourself. Do as to yourself as you would do to others. Do unto others as you would have others do unto yourself. See, it's all saying the same thing. All this information I just gave you comes right down to one thing that Alex just put up in front of you. This is a sail on your boat of life. The unconditional love. The golden rule is your sail. The ocean is a spirit. The ocean is your imagination. The ocean is your power. The ocean is your emotion. The sail on the boat is the golden rule. The wind that catches the sail and pushes the boat into a lovely sunset of tropical design with a double rainbow, that wind is your spirit.
Damn.
So when you're kind to yourself, you'll be kind to others. And believe you me, I've been through it. Because I was hell to be with and hell to be around for a long time. But you must go through those things to see that there is an outcome for it. That's another reason we're on earth, to go through life.
Wow.
And use life as life is given to you. And life is given to you as a blessing. And you can turn your blessings into blessings for others by utilizing the golden rule for yourself first and for others. And know that God is always with you. He's always there. What happens to people when they go down to the bottom of the barrel and go below the bottom, land of the bottom feeders? They go to God. Happens every time. Happened to me.
That's
Honesty is your ticket to heaven.
amazing. Wow.
And that heaven I'm talking about is the heaven you hold in your heart, the heaven you hold internally. It's great to be alive! Celebrate it. Celebrate life every day. And when a loved one passes over to the other side, celebrate that person's life. Funerals are for the living. They wear black, they gnash their teeth, they wail and they moan. That's the living. That's the people who are still living. That's their emotions. Celebrate with the happiness of life when that person crosses over, because that person's in a better place. And when you wail and gnash your teeth and moan, you're holding them back.
Appreciate
I'm just talking
you.
about the world around us.
I will
and with that invisible anchor, when you see
be
it,
on
that's when you'll be seeing the
tomorrow
truth of what is around you.
at
And you simply
8
let it
a.m.
go. The next gust of wind, which is
until
a big
next
spirit
time, take
of
care of
your
yourself,
enterprise of life,
take care of
will come,
others.
catch
I love
the
you.
sail,
Bye.
And you will sail into a beautiful